Hey everyone, welcome to Healing Journeys today. This is the HARTbeat broadcast, and I'm Butch Hartman, and this is the amazing, beautiful, wonderful, redheaded Julieann Hartman. That's right, she's this one right here. No, not this one right here, this one.
Me.
And we've been married for almost 32 years. Not quite yet, but we're getting there. But we talk about weeks away, yeah. We talk about marriage and relationships here on this channel, especially how to have a marriage and relationship in a godly way, following biblical principles. And we are just so grateful that you guys are here. And we have two special guests today.
Yes, they're not green screened in. They actually are.
They
real.
live, they breathe,
Yes.
and they're actually married. You guys are married, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And what are your names? Give me your name, young lady with the blonde hair.
Yes. My name is Jessica Giaimo.
And young man with the blonde hair, who's taller?
My name is Jeffrey Micah Giaimo.
Jeffrey Micah?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeffrey Micah Giaimo. Okay, I thought you said
Yes.
Michael there for me. So Jeffrey Micah, nice to meet you. Jessica, do you have a middle name?
Nichole.
Nicole. Oh,
Right.
there you
Okay.
go.
Well, now
Okay.
we can start the broadcast.
Now we can start. Well, we're grateful you guys are here. Just so you guys know, Jeff and Jessica are married. You've been married how many years now?
8.5.
No, 7.5,
Seven
but
and
it'll
a
be
half.
8 in September.
Yes.
Nice. Well, congratulations. That's an amazing thing to
Yeah,
do.
it is.
Amazing thing to be. And, you know, we were, gosh, years ago, we were married for 8
I'm
years.
trying to remember
The year
what.
2000.
Yeah, what that. Oh my.
The year
God.
2000. We got married in 1992. So,
Wow.
my goodness. In fact, you know, 8 years.
Wait, she
8
was
years.
born in '92,
Oh, of course.
right?
I was, yes.
Yeah,
You were
she
married
was
your whole
born
life.
in 92.
8 years into our marriage, we got saved in the year 2000. That's when I got saved. So that's so interesting. Hey, well, we're so glad you're here. And Jeff and Jessica are here visiting with us. And they're
And where do
amazing.
they work?
They work at Charis Bible College.
Well, they work for Wommack Ministries.
Don't you work at, isn't that Charis Bible College
It's
too?
all the same.
It's all the same,
It's
but
all the
Right.
same.
Well, there's a there's a preacher named Andrew Wommack, who is a minister and a wonderful Bible teacher. He has a school called Charis Bible College up in Colorado, and they work with Andrew at his ministry, and they've been there for a number of years, and they are the ones responsible for all of the videos you see where they call them a healing journey. Yeah, where someone who was sick or someone who had something that they were dealing with something that medical science couldn't take care of or nothing else seemed to take care of, and they were miraculously healed by the power of the Lord Jesus. And it's kind of a really cool
and
thing
Jeff
to get
did
to do.
mine, my testimony, my healing journey.
That means he shot and edited and wrote this
Yeah,
whole really
in
cool,
2014.
a really cool, like a mini documentary. So you guys are kind of mini documentarians, am I right?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
and
do you-
you've been a
and-
part of our lives for a long time.
A while now, yeah. And so do you guys work together?
Yes.
We do. That's why we're calling this broadcast, Can You Work With Your Spouse and Still Be Married? Because Julieann and I work together all the time.
Is
And
that like, you sound like this is like a
I'm-
storybook rhyme?
I'm just moving on with that. I'm just going straight ahead with the story. So we work together all the time, and we love having other couples on who also work
Mhm.
together. So can you guys sort of tell us, maybe, you know, you can tell the story any way you want.
You said you'll tell us anything. You'll say anything.
You said you're an open book. You'll tell us
Yeah.
anything.
Anything.
So Jeff, when you first got married to Jessica, did you guys know you'd be working together?
Yes. Basically, we were working together while we were friends, and then when we were dating,
Oh,
and then when we got married. So
Always work together.
that's all we know.
okay. So I
Wow.
thought, all right. So you didn't know Jessica first. She came to work there.
No, we knew each other. We had actually been on a date.
Oh,
And
okay. We got to hear the story.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not the whole story. Just where'd you go on
Yeah,
the date?
no.
Right. So we had been like best friends for about 3 years.
Mhm.
And then Jeff told me his feelings. And so we went on a date.
Aw.
And it ended with me telling him I just wanted to stay friends. And which was not what he wanted to hear.
What did you really feel that way, or are you just too shy?
Yeah, that's a long story. But basically, I just was dealing with a lot of, I think, fear. And honestly, we both feel like it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
But at the time, I wasn't able to make that switch from friend to more than friend.
Mm.
And so that was, I felt like I couldn't do that. And so said no, but then about 3 weeks later, I started working with him at the ministry. We started
Okay, was that
working together.
awkward?
Yes.
Very awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you
But-
said no, does that mean you weren't going to even go out on the dates? Like you were done?
I mean, I don't really know because we had been best friends for like 3 years. So that relationship was already kind of complicated. It
Oh, and
wasn't-
then he made the huge move of saying, "Here's how I really feel about you,
right,
my best friend."
which was
Took a big jump off the diving board. I thought,
Yeah.
wow, that was pretty amazing.
Okay, so did you guys see anybody else during those 3 years?
yeah, we both did.
Oh, okay. So you were like really just best
We
buddies.
were really just best friends.
Okay.
I think Jeff had feelings.
I always thought that if a girl liked you, she would just come out and tell you.
Jeff.
Oh my dear boy.
No woman does that.
My dearest Jeffrey.
No, I'm
Yeah,
teasing.
I realize now.
Yeah,
That is so cute.
So he was waiting on me to make the first move, but
Yeah.
I was like, well, if he hasn't asked me out, he must maybe think I'm cute but doesn't like me.
I was dropping hints. I was
No,
chumming the waters.
no
but
hint. I
you
wasn't.
didn't-
No, I'm not a hint person. So.
Okay, so were you interested though? Like, were there times when you might have been a little more interested?
You talking
but
to her? Or
he
him?
didn't. No, I'm talking to Jessica, but he didn't say anything. So you were like, oh, he just wants to be friends.
I mean, like there were times when I thought like, I wonder if Jeff likes me, but again, like he wasn't saying anything.
I think the same thing. I was wondering if Jeff likes me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
well,
I wonder
you
if Jeff likes me.
He's a hinter.
I like to play hard to get. And I like it when you make the first move.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay, so when he did finally tell you his feelings, you were like, no.
I was upset because I thought, great, now I have to deal with this, right? Like
Uh.
now,
And she was already going. She went on a date with another guy.
I had been on a few dates
Okay.
with another guy.
And when I found out-
It's
solo
okay.
date.
Julianne was engaged 7 times, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, that was way before you. I wasn't
Way
your best
before.
friend doing that.
That's true.
Okay. So so you went on a date. Did you go and tell each other like, hey, I went on this date last night? And you're like, oh, good for you. How'd it go? Or did you just not talk about your
So
dates?
he, like the guy I'd been on a date with.
Well, I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
did you go home that night and call Jeff and like, hey, I went on a date? Like, if you guys were
No,
besties.
No, he would actually say like he knew when I would be kind of seeing someone because I wouldn't text him back right away.
Oh, so we didn't have texting when we were dating. That didn't exist.
Yeah.
So there were signs, and then he also saw like some people too. So it wasn't. We were literally friends. Like we just were such good friends.
Yeah, we'd get close. Like there'd be times where I'm like, "Wow, she's just about to ask me out. She's gonna drop the clearest hint where I know I can ask her out." I was always expecting that, and when we'd come close, and then she'd go move to Russia, or she'd date someone, or I'd date someone.
Moving to Russia is a hardcore signal.
Yeah,
that's like
She
It's a-
even invited me to Russia when we were friends, and then she retracted the invitation to Russia.
No, that's not true.
So, well, I was just like, hey, so when am I coming to Russia? Like, you don't want to come to Russia. This girl's so hard to figure out.
I don't know. Jeff was cryptic. So we started working together
Yes.
in this time.
Okay.
Of,
now, Jeff, did you secretly arrange that to happen, or was it completely an
Yeah.
accident?
It was a complete accident. I didn't want to see her. I was trying to get over her.
Hmm.
And
Oh.
it was honestly, it was kind of hard because we would work together. She would always kind of invite me into her office. There were other guys working in the TV department at the time.
Hmm.
Somehow she would only ask me to help her. And so then I would like,
Were these super handsome guys?
they were very handsome. They were more handsome than me.
How could anyone be more handsome
No,
than you? Is
I
my
don't
main
believe it.
I was
question.
wanting you to say that. That's why I was looking for you. Yeah.
I'm still wondering if Jeff likes me. Okay, keep going.
So go on.
so yeah, well, basically, what?
Can I-
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So for 7 months, basically, we kept doing it where she would ask me to help her out with filming different shoots, and we'd go out and like get coffee afterwards, and we would just kind of talk about theology, kind
Have
of
like theological debates.
for like hours,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And I like
Very romantic.
So
very romantic. And so we'd do this, and then like I'd always kind of get sudden bursts of confidence, and I'd be like, "Hey, so I still have feelings for you. If you don't like me, I prefer if you let me know now so I can move on." And she,
As you're going into the tunnel of love and the big swan.
Right.
yes,
So romantic.
So, no, Jeff, let's just talk about Abraham covenant and stuff like that.
But okay, so what would you say when he would try to tell you that he had feelings?
Well, he would want me to say like, I need you to tell me I don't like you.
Well, you
right?
already knew it because he told you the first time.
Exactly. So I already knew that, but he would kind of bring it back to that, and I'd be like, I can't tell you I don't, but because he was like my best friend, and
Oh.
it was hard because I knew if I said that I would lose him, you know, and I didn't realize it at the time. Definitely didn't realize it, but I was in a way leading him on, because I was getting all the benefits of a relationship in a lot of ways, the friendship, all that, but not committing. And it's like, girls can do that too. And so
what can girls do? Please tell the men in the audience.
Girls can lead guys on. And
I had no idea.
But it wasn't intentional. It certainly wasn't like, oh, I have no desire to be with him, but I'm just going to play with him. It's like, no, that wasn't my heart. But I was terrified of letting him go, but I was terrified of committing. Yeah. And this went on for about 7 months. And then that's when, which I tell this part. Yeah, but I was going to say, this is the part that I tell guys. I'm like, if this is happening, you need to get to this point. Because it's important.
What's the point you need to get to?
So basically, Jessica called me into her office for like the umpteenth time, and like, yes, new. Jessica, and she like had like her editor on the computer. She said, how do I like? It was something simple, something I had showed her like a million times before, and I realized at that point, I'm like, Jessica, I can't be your friend anymore.
Wait, the editor's on the phone
no, not a person editor, like an editing program.
I think there's a Zoom call and you don't know it.
Okay,
got it.
It was at work.
So I knew that she it was just me and her in her office, and she called me in to help her with like something that I helped her with a million times before. And I knew she didn't actually need my help. She was just finding an excuse. And at this point, I had gone through like so much like kind of frustration and heartache, and like I was kind of at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm like, Jessica, I love you. And I can't be your friend anymore.
Ooh.
And I walked out.
Ooh.
Like the decision is yours.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jeff said the same thing to me about an hour ago, which is the weirdest part.
All right, so
That's
Jessica, what did you do?
Well, I was shocked because I had guys tell me that before, but this was like the first time when I was like, he meant it, right?
And why did you call him in the office in the first place?
I don't remember, but I needed help. I was still very new. Like, it wasn't a ploy. I don't think it was a ploy.
Wasn't a ploy.
I don't think so.
It was like Princess Buttercup being like, Farm boy, get back.
Fetch me that. Yeah.
That's a Princess Bride reference, by the way.
Yes.
So he says that and he leaves, and it was a Friday. And it was like 6 p.m. So
did he leave for the day? Or just...
He left the building.
Yeah.
Wow, Jeff, laying it down.
That's the day I became a man.
That's when the beard started growing.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, see, that's another thing though, is Jeff during the 7-month period of like between our first date and this time started taking really good care of himself.
Ooh.
And so he kind of transformed into this guy who was like a nice guy and kind of cute, but didn't really look like he really took a lot of care of himself or anything like that. To someone who, like my roommates were being like, have you guys seen Jeff? Like, he was like working out all the time and cut his hair and
Okay, wait. So Jeff, what made you do that? Did you feel like that was going to seal the deal for you? If you look cute?
Or were you taking out your rage in the gym?
Honestly, I think it was a lot of taking out my rage.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Because I think there's like also kind of making that, there's kind of like a boyishness to me. I'm still kind of boyish, but I feel like
you are. There's a very boyish heart and charm to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Even though you're very hairy.
Thank you. I'm a hairy boy.
Hairy boy.
But there was like, it was almost like after I made that decision, like, okay, I told the girl that I love that I have feelings for her. She rejected me, but I'm like, what am I going to do now? I'm like, I want to start going to the gym. I think for the longest time, I never felt like I was in control of like my fitness or my weight. And so I was just like, I used that kind of like heartache in a sense and said like, what can I control in my life? I can't control Jessica. If I did, we'd be married by now, but I can control my biceps.
So
that's funny.
Yeah.
I have a question for Jessica. So are you saying to most of the guys out there, if not all the guys, that sometimes looks do matter? Like maybe not the looks so much, but the fact that the man takes care of himself, that he will invest in himself, does that mean something?
Absolutely. I grew up in athletics. I wanted to take care of myself, even if I wasn't like in the shape I wanted to be. But it's because when you as a girl, when you marry a guy, he's kind of like, especially as Christians, like the spiritual head of your home. Like he's kind of the one who sets the pace. And if he's kind of just like, like not really taking care of himself,
Wishy-washy.
just not really disciplined. It's a really unattractive quality, even if you don't realize that that's kind of what you're sensing.
Got it.
And so sometimes, but then when they do, it's like, wow, I'm attracted. Like, this is like, I don't know. It's like a natural thing. I don't know.
Oh, probably, I think for a girl, maybe it provides a sense of security. Like, wow, this man can actually be disciplined
Yeah.
and take care of things.
Yeah.
And perhaps be a provider and take care of things.
Yeah, it's true. And so that was a big thing I was noticing in Jeff. And here he is at the ministry. He's really good at what he's doing. And so it was just a lot of things were happening that when we were friends, we were both kind of just like these goofy kids, wasn't really there probably for either of us. But
did Jeff make you laugh?
Oh, he made me laugh all the time. Yeah. No, we were like really, really close. But when
you should say what God told you.
That's what I was about to say. Oh. Okay, so when he drops this love bomb on me and leaves
for the weekend.
I drove home to my parents' house. They were currently living in Estes Park, so it was like a 2-hour drive.
Colorado, right?
Colorado, yes. And I was driving, looking at the mountains, and I was just like crying, like, what do I do? And I was just really struggling and talking to God, and I felt like God told me, you think that I feel like you're worth pursuing, right? And I was like, well, yeah, of course. And he's like, why can't you believe that Jeff feels that way about you too? Because every relationship I was in, I was dumped. So it was.
Now wait a minute. Who are these people?
We want names now.
You?
Names.
We want names. We want to expose them.
We
want to expose them now on this broadcast.
We said ask you anything. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, if you want to get revenge, click the link below. Okay, so.
No, it was good because I should not have ended up with any of those guys.
My goodness
but
gracious.
It developed this thing in me where I thought, okay, eventually every guy ends up finding something that they're like, no. But when you date someone, you're kind of getting to know them and they don't really know the real you yet. So when they reject you, it's like, okay, well, they rejected me, but did they really know me? I don't know. But Jeff knew the real me, like more than any guy I dated, because we were best friends. So he had already seen the parts of me other people had, and he knew my opinions on everything, things I didn't say to boyfriends. And if he wanted to be with me so bad and we dated, and then he found that same thing that the other guys found, the real me would be rejected. And that was like ultimate rejection. And so it was terrifying. It was terrifying, like the idea of dating him. But so, God was like kind of showing me this. And then he's like, you asked me to give your heart away or to keep your heart safe until the right guy came along, and you're going to have to let me give it away. And I realized in that moment I had a choice. I could not let him do that. I could not let God give my heart away, but I could miss out on what I was meant to have. Yeah. And so anyway.
Wow. That's a very special story. I think there's a lot in there. I think a lot of the fact getting over being dumped, which again, I'm still going to expose these people. But I'm actually very happy for Jeff that those guys did dump you because you ended up with him. And Jeff actually growing up and taking care of himself and actually putting his foot down. I can't be with you anymore. I love you, and I can't be your friend. Walking away, and then you realizing that you're worth being pursued and getting over that fear. So many dramatic moments. There needs to be a TV movie here.
I have a question, Jeff. Were you talking to someone that said you got to go in there and just tell her your feelings, or was that something you just came up with on your own?
What podcast did you listen to, Jeff?
I think a lot of people told him to give up.
Yeah, they had podcasts.
They did
8 years ago. Yes, they had podcasts.
Initially, it was my brother who told me, because basically Jessica came my 25th birthday, and this is kind of the year that kind of this whole nightmare / dream started. But
nightmares aren't dreams; they're just bad ones.
Oh well, when the nightmare before, the whole enchilada before became a good dream. But my brother came to my birthday, and he could tell, like, Jessica and I you could sense a little spark. He's like, you should tell her how you feel. And I'm like, maybe I will. And so I told her how I felt. Like, I told her I liked her. But then, like, after she rejected me,
pain.
Yeah, like all of my friends, everybody was saying, like, Jeff, you need to, like, kind of cut your losses, give up. She's not interested, get over it, bro, like all that stuff. And it's like, I wanted to. I genuinely want to. I tried dating other girls. But it was just, even when I go out on like other dates, I remember I had just the worst feeling. Like, it wasn't like there was anything wrong with this girl. It was just, I knew that it wasn't like me. It wasn't right.
You just wanted to run screaming from the dinner table.
I did. Like I was at a Mexican restaurant and I had no appetite, like that bad, you know.
Oh
Poor
my
girl.
God.
Oh my God.
But when it was with Jessica, it was like it felt so much like home, and I wanted to be with her so much. But like it says, hope defers makes the heart sick.
Yes.
Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Yes, indeed.
And
That's a
my heart
scripture.
was so sick because it was like nothing but false hope. And
Aw.
I know now it wasn't like her intentional. She was scared. But yeah, honestly, it was a very essential part of our relationship.
Oh, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and so now you guys work together, and do you find that you work together in a good way?
Can I finish my thought?
Yes.
Well, I was just going to say, kind of to answer your question and kind of what we were talking about that being our foundation. Honestly, like all that pain and stuff that like started our relationship, it's like it's kind of carried us through a lot of stuff now. Like honestly, like I'm glad it took that long to kind of. It was almost like we were growing roots, you know.
Yes.
We have like a story, and like you know we've had some hard seasons in our life, but like honestly. I think because like we took the time, we didn't just rush into it. Jessica had that word from God, and like I really had to fight for her. I feel like that's made on the other side of the relationship, getting married, a lot easier. And that's kind of where we're at now. It's like we still have you know, we still have challenges, but it's like we're best friends. And honestly, it's like I'm glad we started as best friends because being best friends now is what's still keeping us like
That's amazing.
together.
That's a very sweet, amazing story.
Well, the best friend part will sustain you guys because you enjoy being together. The marriage part is like kind of like I don't know. I want to say not the
Careful.
well.
Very careful.
I'm trying to be very.
I'm sitting
careful,
right
guys.
here.
But the
I'm
marriage
right here.
part is like certain things that you do as a married couple. But the friendship is what makes it all so much better, right? It's like there's certain things that we do, like I'm not going to go into detail, but I mean, you know, there's certain things we do as being married, but then having the best.
Why are
friend
you going to go
part
into
of it-
detail? What were you going to talk about?
Well, because if I say something that you don't want me to say, you're going to be like, why did you say that? So I'm not going to say it.
I'll say it in that voice too. That's exactly
Okay.
how I talk.
So yeah, so the friendship though is what it makes it all that much better. And imagine that sometimes like back in my mom's day, people didn't necessarily marry their best friend. They married because they knew that they had to be a wife or they were supposed to be a husband. And they never thought about, oh, you mean you could be my friend too? And so the relationship was very different back then. Not everybody, but a lot of people that I knew back in those days didn't have the kind of freedom with their spouse like we do now today.
Mm.
Wow.
So let me ask you a question. We had talked a little bit about in a previous episode on the journey about insecurity, about how when you got married, the insecurity in your heart got worse and worse and worse, Jessica. So maybe you can give like your little testimony of what happened.
Yeah.
In your first year of marriage, you had said.
Yeah. First year of marriage, insecurity and fear just blew up in me. They say it's like when you put metals in a furnace, the impurities come to the surface and you wipe it off and you have pure gold or silver. It's like marriage. It's like all the impurities come to the surface, but they were there. And God wants those to come up so that he can take them from you. And so I realized, okay, this was in me. Yeah, this isn't a surprise, but it was a surprise to me. And yeah, I mean, Jeff never gave me a reason to feel like I should be insecure. And that's what killed me the most is I'm finally with a guy that actually doesn't make me insecure and I'm taking out all my insecurities on him. So it hurt me, but it's like I was saying in the journey, of course, like it's like a stronghold. It was a stronghold. It didn't make logical sense. And it was just hurting our relationship. We weren't able to have fun as much as we could have. And then, long story short, after about a year, I kind of had another moment with God because I was very serious about changing. I was like, God, I'll do anything. I just fake it till you make it isn't working. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I never thought I'd be this person, but this can't be my life. I can't do this. And that's when God showed me that vision of the mountain and the girl standing on top. I live in Colorado, and she was everything I wanted to be. She was confident. She was secure. She was like a great wife. Everyone wanted to be around her. And I was at the bottom and I was like, if I can just get to her, I will be her. So I gotta keep trying. I can't give up. And then these like demons or creatures, whatever, like come out and
sounds like a video game.
I know. We do play video games. And like grab me and then I trip and fall like a mess up, like I get insecure. and I fall and go all the way back to the bottom and I have to start over. And I'm like, exactly, that's how this feels. It's so hard. And when I mess up one time, I have to start over. And God told me, you're looking at it wrong. And then I saw it again. And I was the girl at the top of the mountain. I was secure. I was confident. I was the person everyone wanted to be around. And then when these creatures would try to come up, it was so much easier just to like kick it and it would just tumble down. And I realized it's so much easier to defend your position knowing who you are than trying to become something you think you're not.
Oh my gosh.
And that's when it changed everything for me.
That's huge. Defend your position knowing who you are rather than trying to obtain something that you know you're not, because it's a much harder climb. Wow, that's deep there, kiddo.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That'll preach. That's good. Look at that.
So you want to tell them, like, there was that time when Jeff, you'd said something to her that kind of sparked.
I didn't see
She
that.
likes that.
I didn't
She
see
likes
any of
that.
this.
I know. You have to watch the journey.
You have to watch the journey with Jeff and Jessica. Okay, so go. I didn't hear that. This is new to me too. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll let you share this one. But this is when I was dealing with all that insecurity. I hadn't had my mountaintop moment yet. So.
Yeah, so because we basically have like, we love hosting and stuff, but Jessica would get like in her shell and then she'd start acting weird, like you could tell she's like standing in the corner, or she like.
And people don't think you're insecure when you act that way. They just think you've got an attitude, right?
You're just like, God, she's so weird. I don't know why she
like,
sits in the
she's so full of
corner.
herself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she doesn't laugh at any of my jokes or anything like that. And like I
feel that way a lot. You laugh a lot.
Well, it's not because I'm insecure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a whole different
Oh my gosh.
journey we're going to do on our marriage. So yeah, go ahead, though.
Well, so anyway, I knew the real Jessica, and I knew like how much fun she was. I knew how funny she was, and I knew that this person that she was being really wasn't herself. And I get frustrated, and I didn't handle it the best. I was very like, I was insecure myself, and I think I wanted people to be like, oh, I'm the funny guy, and I've got a funny wife, But
That's what I think all the time.
Thank you. It's my little clown. But I told Jessica like at one point, I'm like, I said to her, because there was a lot of pressure, like especially in the first year of marriage, and I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna divorce you, but if I did, would you be okay?
Wow.
So this was not helping my insecurity.
No, at all.
And I got so mad and I said, are you kidding me? I'm like, well, what if I left you? Like, would you be okay? And so then.
Yeah. And I said, I would be devastated and I'd be heartbroken, but I know that eventually I'd recover and I'd move on with my life.
And I was really upset. And I got so upset and I was so insecure and I was like, well, that's horrible. And I went into the bedroom and slammed the door shut and I started crying because I was so upset because I knew he was right. And I hated that he was right. I hated that I became the person that couldn't say I'd be okay in the end, even though marriage is for life and we're for that. We're not advocating that.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be for life.
It's supposed to be for life. But it was like, my whole emotional stability and like identity was wrapped up in, is Jeff with me? Is Jeff for me? Will Jeff stay with me? And it was like, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. And I hated that I had become that because I never thought I would. And that's when I really started kind of pursuing God and with this. And that's when I had that moment. So I was very grateful that he said that, because once again, it was like the I love you thing kind of shook me out of my head a little bit and got me to see what was really going on. So,
wow,
you guys,
wow. Well,
she's a tiny package, but a very deep well.
Yeah.
But what I love is that we've got 8 years of marriage and 32 years of marriage, and
together we make 40 years
40.
of marriage.
Yeah,
and I think Jeff has the best hair out of all of us. I'm just looking
I
at
think
all
so
the hair.
too.
Like, there's
It's
a lot
very
of hair
cool.
going on there.
But anyway, I think it really does help because we've got lots of young people that are watching our broadcast that have not been married or have been married like 8 or 10 years. And so you're not.
And by the way, it's okay to be insecure. I'm not saying that we're supposed to be, but if you are insecure, you don't have to remain insecure. You don't have to remain in fear. Those things were not given to you by the Lord. They were given to you by the enemy. And those things happen because we do feel unsafe sometimes. And, I don't want to go off saying, oh, it's okay to be unsafe. It's really not okay to feel unsafe, because you should get over that fear and feel as secure as possible. The Bible says you weren't given the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So if you have a sound mind, the fear is a foreign invader. It shouldn't be there. But it's not easy to get over it sometimes. And I just admire both of you because you got through it in a very mature way.
And I mean, obviously the word got you through it. The Lord got you through that because there is no other way. There's medication, but you didn't choose that route. You chose to let the Lord
all kinds
heal
of other
you.
things they could have
Yeah,
chosen.
and also let the Lord heal you, but you also let him grow you too, and to grow you into your real identity, which is child of the Most High God.
Love it.
Right?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
If it's all right. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but like when you said that, it kind of made me realize too, like to anyone listening, like for me, I didn't get with Jessica when she was a God in my life. And like kind of that 7-month period, as much as it was me working out and like me like kind of putting up with like the just being and content being a friend, well, until I wasn't content anymore. But what it really was also doing was it was pruning the idol that I made Jessica. And I feel like you don't want to marry someone when they're your God. You want God to be
Your God.
your God. Honestly, that's the only real way it worked with Jessica and I. It was like God's first and then like the other person's second.
That's huge. And that's how it should work in every relationship.
Yeah, and your kids are third.
Yes, your job should never be first. Nothing should come before the Lord. It all falls into place under him, including people. Are we saying being mean to people? Not saying that at all. But if we start idolizing people, those people can let us down.
And you know the difference.
Then we'll collapse.
We know the difference if we're idolizing somebody or if we're just, loving somebody.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can really respect somebody
difference.
and love them and desire them and all that stuff. But when it's all you can think about and they make or break your life, that's a dangerous position to be in.
I don't know if this is true. This is something that just like my own perception on this, but I feel like more men idolize women than women idolize men.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know, because when they do, they fall really hard for the woman. The man does for the woman, like falls really hard and feels like, and again, I'm sure it's an equal thing, but I always feel like people that I've known, I always felt like it's been the man that has been idolizing the woman and not.
Well, our daughter Carly fell very hard for her husband.
Well, I'm not saying everybody. I didn't say everybody.
I'm
just
defending the position here.
No, but I'm just saying that sometimes I think when a man will fall very, very hard for someone and then will do anything and lose himself as a result of that too.
Sometimes
women will do it too, but for some reason, like I said, I feel like I've known more men to do that. And then you get a hold of yourself and say, wait a minute, my position is completely messed up. I'm in the wrong position right now. And so thank God that you made that choice or you guys stayed friends or not separated, but you know what I mean.
I think the 7 months of rebooting was probably necessary.
Yeah. And I think maybe the reason why that you may see that, Julieann, is I think like, especially for guys like me, like I was very shy, very insecure. And so for me to get to a point where I'd even tell Jessica my feelings, I had already built it up in my head.
That's big.
Right.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of why she had to like be removed from that throne in my head of like being God, to where when I was able to tell her like, hey, I love you, I can't be your friend, I had so much peace. And it's because she was no longer my God, I was like,
that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I could feel it. I think like subconsciously I could feel that I meant a bit too much to him at first. And then when he was like working out during that 7 months and like doing great and just living his life, I think part of it was like the physical stuff, but part of it was like, we went to a wedding and I saw him dancing with other girls, and something rose up in me. And I started realizing he doesn't need me anymore.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
And that was attractive. I know that sounds weird. And it's not like,
it is weird with girls. It's funny. Like with Jeff, when you were desperate for her and your desperation was oozing out of your body, that becomes very repulsive. See, she's laughing. It's true.
Look, I love you. Come on. Why don't
I know. Why don't you like me?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that apparently to girls, that's very, and by the way, it goes both ways too. When someone's that desperate or comes across that way, that can be sort of off-putting sometimes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time already.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Let's hear it for Jeff and
you.
Jessica Giaimo. We love having you guys on. And you can check them out on Julieann's other talk show that we do here on Healing Journeys Today called The Journey, where they go even deeper into their relationship. They're just a great couple. They're our dear friends.
Yes.
We're so glad you guys got to join us on HARTbeat. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I want to remind everybody that we do have a conference coming up in May in Louisville, Texas. And that's at the Shepherd's House, May 17th and 18th. Go to healingjourneystoday.com.
Just a few weeks away.
Yeah, /conferences. It'll take you right to the Eventbrite page. It's a 2-day event. It's all day Friday, all day Saturday. We're going to have worship. We're going to have, there's going to be a presence of the Lord there like you've never seen before. And never
expecting.
Before. Yes.
Come and expect.
An expectation, because we are expecting like miracles, signs, and wonders, because that's what's supposed to happen.
Amen.
When we are gathered together. So please go check that out. And then also, and like Butch said, watch them on the journey too, because they've got a great story. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.